Something that really frustrates me about this transgender community is that you want us to accept your transformation. You want us to accept your new self and whatever fantasy you've built in your head. But yet, you couldn't accept your true self. You couldn't accept the normal self, the natural self.
Okay, I love this TikTok because it absolutely demolishes a common talking point the right wing uses against trans people.
Okay, ignoring the fact that I literally thought you were one of us. In TikTok, this is not bullying. This is honesty. But babe, you very clearly have a face full of filler and Botox. You're wearing a wig, heavy makeup, and you slapped a filter on top of the video. So how is it your place to tell us that we don't love our natural selves when clearly you don't either? I guess what I'm getting at is most people alter their appearance to boost their self-confidence and self-love, not just trans people. And we're not trans because we hate ourselves, mama. We're trans because we have gender dysphoria. It's real. Literally less than 1% of the population is trans. Leave us the alone.
So this TikTok by Zaya is absolutely amazing and truly deeply hilarious. Because the truth of the matter is that cisgender people receive a ridiculous amount of gender-affirming care. And yet despite this, they'll go after trans people for doing things that make us happy and like genuinely make our lives more fulfilling. Because they think that trans people transition because we hate ourselves. But the truth of the matter is, trans people transition because we love ourselves and we want to truly and fully express ourselves in the best way that we possibly can. And for a lot of trans people, that means transitioning. And that's fantastic because then we get to live like complete and full lives being ourselves. The problem is that cisgender people think that this is rooted in self-hatred, or they think that it's rooted in like rejecting who you truly are, when it's really all about accepting who you truly are. And it's so shameless because if you actually look at what these cisgender people do, they'll get things like plastic surgeries or lip fillers, or they'll even wear wigs and things like that. Cisgender men will very often go on things like finasteride to try and prevent hair loss. All of these things are like gender affirming things that people do. I mean, even people like Alex Jones, these extreme right wingers, engage in a ridiculous amount of gender affirming things for themselves. I mean, quite literally, the nonsensical miracle pills that people on the right wing often are like selling on their shows is literally meant to be like this like gender affirming care. We're like, don't worry, it's gonna make you super masculine. What else is that other than gender affirming care? But here's the thing. Aside from like some of the obvious scams of like the fake medicines and all that stuff, gender affirming care is perfectly fine. And it's something that's totally fine to do. If you want to get plastic surgery to look a certain way, if you want to put on makeup to look a certain way, you want to wear a wig because it makes you feel cute, all of these things are perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with doing things that make you feel more like yourself. It's just that when trans people do it, these people get so up in arms. And very often it's like the same exact people who are going out like getting fillers and all these things that will turn around and say, how dare trans people do this? And it speaks to like the deep-seated hypocrisy that these people really have, where they refuse to accept that other people might want to do some of the same things that they are doing. And once again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with pursuing gender-affirming care, whether or not it's something like as complicated as like a plastic surgery, or something as simple as like taking a pill so that you don't go bald. All of these things are perfectly fine. I mean, there are a ton of cisgender women post-menopause who take estrogen, and there's fundamentally nothing wrong with that. These things are beneficial things that science and technology have allowed us to have new ways to fully express ourselves. In a lot of ways, this is just a miracle of science that we get to have in our modern day society. That makes the experience not only of transgender people, but also cisgender people much more meaningful and fun in a lot of different ways. But we have to see it for what it is, and we have to recognize that fundamentally these things need to be about self-fulfillment, and we shouldn't be out policing other people's gender expression, and we shouldn't be out telling people what they are and are not allowed to do with their own bodies.